you guys, it's Ruby from Oofy Scraps, and I am back with chapter 4 of my birthday travel mini album. So we're back in Joshua Tree, and I am just working away on this mini album. I feel like I've already said this a ton of times, but I cannot believe how much time was able to be put into such a small little album. But I do think that I've worked in a small album like this before, and in the past it's felt kind of boring because it's such a small space that you can't really do much to it. And I think that with this album, I've really found a way to be able to get all of those elements without taking away from the photos, without being too crazy busy, but also feeling like it's a completed album with a lot of thought and pieces that went into it. So all the time investment, I guess, has been worth it. But yeah, right now I'm working on a page right beside the last photo I took inside of the actual park. I picked up this cute little patch. I think I stapled it on the last video. I just added a little fabric phrase banner. It says, "All good things are wild and free." And now we're moving on to the next page. This was our second night in Joshua Tree, which is our last night. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, we were only there 2 nights. And it's a picture of me, which might be kind of hard to see. I actually screenshot this off of my friend Olivia's story on Instagram. And it's a picture of me like with the giant tongs, knee deep in the fire pit. So I love campfires. I think they're so fun. I love cooking dinner on a campfire, and I just love hanging out around a campfire. It's one of my favorite things about going camping overall. So this is just a picture of me, and I picked this little blue starry background because the photo has kind of a bluey tint to it. And now I'm grabbing a little piece of pattern paper that's like a subtle like line print, and I'm using these American Crafts knockout punch set. It's like a border punch set that I got probably in high school. Like, I've had these for so long. I got them at Tuesday Morning forever ago, but it creates all kinds of different borders. There's a bunch of different ones, but this one is like a ripped out of the binder, or ripped out of a notebook type paper border, which I think is super cute. So I did that on the side, and then I have a couple of pieces from the Ali Edwards Laura Wansik Nostalgia, I think, collection it was called. I sort of ended up going for this like monotone blue page, which I ended up really liking the way it turned out. So I'm just sticking down all the things, adhesiving the back of all the things. I tried to cut out as much of that as possible. It's pretty boring to watch. So yeah, then I'm sticking the little like journaling part down, which is where the journaling will go. And then I'm layering my photo and the little embellishments around that accordingly, trying to get everything to fit, have enough breathing room for your visual experience, and make sure everything looks cute. So the one vellum thing says Booyah, which I think is funny. And then the other little blue pennant flag says, "I would rather have 30 minutes of wonderful than a lifetime of nothing special," which is from Steel Magnolia. Nine Magnolias. I think that's cute because it's like, making the most for little moments is worth, the effort or whatever. I don't know. I thought it was cute, and it was also blue, which was the biggest win for this little page. So yeah, I went ahead and stuck all that down. I did a little stapling, and now I'm just going to add a couple of fun little stickers from the good old Simple Stories sticker book that I've just been blowing through. I'm glad to be getting a lot of use out of these, and they're nice because they're so thin. So it's a little tricky to use them. You don't want to rip them, but they're nice because they don't add any bulk to your page and stuff. So then I will go ahead and also in the sticker book, I will use these little block alphabets, and I spell out "So Fire," which is kind of like really corny, but also funny because it's like a fire pit. So I do that, and then I will add journaling below. I don't know if I do the journaling within this video or if I do it off camera, but I'm just laying out my little stickers. I start by trying to do them all in one line, but I end up realizing there's not enough room. So I'll put the "so" in the first line, and then I'll put the "fire" spelt out below, and that turns out really cute. And then I will add a couple of stamps. It's just some little stampy clusters in here in a second once I finish spelling out my trusty dusty little title here. But yeah, I'm excited to have this album getting, almost done. I think I have one more process video after this. We'll do a chapter 5, and then I have the flip through. So I'm really excited about that, and I'm actually already planning my next travel album that I'm going to be putting together, so I'm just not wasting any time. I hope you guys are enjoying this. Obviously, these albums are pretty retrospective. This happened in January. My next album actually happened previous, or my next trip that I'm going to document was even previous to this in September of 2022. But I love travel documenting. It's so inspiring to me and exciting. And I hope you guys are in for more travel albums to come. But yeah, so I'm using those stamps, like I said. There's just a little heart cluster, and then I will move on to the next page. So the journaling will go on that white area of that page. I just do it off camera. Next page is a little picture of out the car window when we woke up. So I'm using one of the like pretty watercolor papers from the Color Fresh collection. And then this is a little sweet story scrap of paper. So I did kind of like a layered look. And I will just adhere that paper right onto the right side of the paper. I guess that makes sense. And then I just kind of embellish and make a cute little layout here. So this picture is from inside of the car. We ended up sleeping in the back of the SUV we drove because our friend Tyler didn't have a tent. So we were like, you can take our tent and we'll sleep in the car. It was kind of like a premeditated plan, I guess. But it was pretty cold at night while we were there. So when I woke up in the morning in the car, there was like fog on the glass of the window. And I don't know, I just thought it was a cool perspective. And I'm telling you all of this while you can't even see the photo because I'm not working on that right now. I'm sticking this piece of paper down still. But you'll have to trust me. You'll see the picture again in a second. So I thought that was a cool little part of the story to tell. We slept in the car, which we've never done. I don't think I've ever slept in a car camping. I've slept in a motorhome. I don't think I ever slept in a car camping. So check that off my big bucket list. But yeah, I'm just really taking my time getting this piece of paper stuck down perfectly, apparently. I didn't realize it took me this long, but got to make sure everything looks good. Then I'll trim off the excess and get moving on with the rest of this little layout. I feel like by the end of this album, like I've really become comfortable working and creating a literal layout in such a small little canvas, I guess, a small size. Which is a cool little new skill for me to have. I definitely didn't feel super confident to begin with, but here we are now. Bigger and better things going on. Well, I guess smaller things, but anyways, so here is my little photo. I'm trying to decide what kind of things I can layer underneath it. I end up doing a little, I think it's like yellow polka dot paper tab. I punch that out and I will stick that behind. But right now, what are we going to do? Oh, we got some washi tape. Cute orange washi tape. I've used a ton this album. A little floral. I think it's from Hobby Lobby. I got it in like a 2-pack with a smiley face washi tape that I will also use, I think, later on in this video. But I have set the photo just off to the right a little bit, kind of off-centered, and then I'm going to use one of these little phrase stamps from Ali Edwards' 2023 travel kit. And while I'm looking through things, I come across this chipboard that's from another Ali Edwards travel kit, and it says, "Find me under the stars." So I thought, it's nighttime in that other picture. Here we go. Even though it's not actually a picture of stars, I thought it worked out. So this little Ali Edwards stamp that I ended up picking says "Our Little Getaway," which I think is cute because it's like the photo is of us. Well, it's actually not of us, but it's where Steven and I stayed. So we kind of got away in our little camp trip. Sleeping in the little car. It was cute. I thought it was a good dynamic use of the space, kind of having the photo off to the right, and then this stamp I end up putting to the left, kind of like I put it sideways. I don't put it on straight. You'll see. And I liked that. I've done a ton of stamping in this album, or I end up doing a ton of stamping in this album, which I'm super excited about. Like I always say, I'm always trying to use my stamps, trying to use them more, incorporate them, and I feel like once I got them out, it was easy to get the ball rolling, and all of a sudden I was like layering washi tape, paper, and stamps. Washi tape, paper, stickers, stamps. It just became kind of innate to this little project, which I loved. So now I'm fully sticking the picture down, and I will find, there's that little yellow polka dot thing I was telling you about. I just put a little adhesive on the back of that and stick that down. Again, that's just done with my little tab punch. I love adding tabs as a layering element. I think they're super cute. Adds a little shape. It's also a really great grounder for other embellishments. It's a great little anchor. So back to the trusty dusty sticker book. and I'm going to find a few little stickers that I can incorporate in here and just kind of complete this little page up a little more. So here's a cute little camera, and I think I add a heart sticker, and then I will add some more washi tape. So for us on this little trip, sleeping in the car ended up being great because, like I said, it was pretty cold out at night. We woke up in the morning and our other friends were a lot grumpier because of how cold they had been at night. Obviously, everyone had like jackets and hats and sleeping bags and blankets and things like that, but it was still January and it was still cold, even though we were in the desert. So it turned out to be a blessing in disguise. I was excited to tent camp. I love a tent. I think it's fun. But the car ended up being kind of a treat overall. But yeah, I'm still flipping through this book, just looking to see what kind of stickers I can add. I definitely love this sticker book, but I also have had it for a while and I'm trying to kind of push through, get through it, use them all up. I don't want to, have things that are 50 years old in my stash. So I'm glad to find any that I can use in this album. And then I've grabbed this cute little yellow grid paper. I punch a partial circle out of it with my circle punch. I think it's a 2-inch punch. I end up trimming it down. I really like the way a little half circle looks sticking out from behind a picture or whatever. So I use this little grid paper, half circle, as my journaling spot on this cute little page. Again, I don't think I journal in the actual video, but I just pretty much talk about what I said to you guys, that we didn't sleep in the tent because Tyler needed it. We slept in the car, and it ended up being pretty cozy for us. So again, now that I've got that big paper down, I can use it as an anchor for some other embellishments. So I just stick the little wood veneer heart geotag thing down with a little bit of liquid glue. I like that for wood veneer. And that is pretty much it on this little page, I think. So I am going to stick this back into the album, and we will move on to the next page, which has my friend Olivia on it. We started this page, I think, in the last video, but the photo of us on the left, and then to the right, I'm going to put some journaling, but now I'm skipping to the page after that. What am I doing here? Oh, I actually am just going to stick this pattern paper into the back cover. That's what I ended up doing in the front cover, and I'm going to mirror it again in the back. So I just used some double-sided tape, stick it through the coils, and then I think I realized that's a bad idea, and I actually take it out of the album so I can work on it. I don't know why I thought that would work, but here we are, actually lining it up, getting it stuck down. And this is my freaking favorite paper. I don't think I have any more of it now, and I don't think I can find it again. It's like a Michael's Recollections random paper pad collection, but I just love all the colorful cameras. So I'm glad it's in this book. It's a pretty special little book to me. And now we're moving back on to that page I was saying before. This little layout, I was considering putting a couple different things on there, but I end up doing the little adventure pennant, again from the 2022 Allie Edwards travel collection. It says adventure, like I said, and it's really cute, but I want to put journaling on this page. So I could have run it through my printer, I guess, now that I'm thinking about it, but I end up finding a piece of pattern paper. I look through a bunch of different options here, but I ultimately end up with a little pink and red striped paper that's from a random paper pad, and it's perfect for journaling. It's good colors for the color scheme, and it works out really well. So I will line that piece of paper up with my flag and staple it down, and that happens in a second. But while that is going on, I will read you the journaling I end up writing, not in the video, but it goes on this page you see. So it says, Olivia and Mike finally arrived late the last night. She had just arrived back from a work trip, and in true Olivia fashion was late. But what a wonderful weekend. Exploring the outdoors, time with friends, and everyone being so adaptable to the changing plans. We'll be back, J-Tree. Sorry, I had such a hard time reading that. But my friend Olivia is the one in the picture. Mike is her boyfriend. So she was supposed to come originally, when everyone else came, but she got back from a work trip late and then didn't show up till way end of the night. But it all worked out. I was glad she ended up getting to come, and they ended up going into the park later that day since they hadn't arrived when we were already in the park yesterday. So they ended up getting to explore. So there you go. You can see how I ended up putting that all together with the flag and the journaling, and now I am back at it again with the stamps. So I picked some stamps from, I can't remember the name of the collection, but it's a stamp set on the left. I can't remember. The name is escaping me. But it's just like a cute, like groovy little stamp set. So I used the little rainbow icon and I put that a couple times down. And I kind of wanted them to be like layered behind my journaling block just to give some interest to this page without having to add a lot of like physical elements. The stamping worked out really well. So I do a couple of repeated ones, like the rainbow I think I do twice. I do the little flower. I add that little heart a couple of times. And it turns out super cute. I love the black ink, works really well in pulling in the black from that little adventure pennant flag. And I think it's just like the perfect thing. And then this stamp is, I don't know how to explain it. It's kind of like floral looking, but it's like a circle with really fine lines in it. I think it's possibly my new favorite stamp, especially for like a filler moment where you just want to add a little pizzazz. It's so pretty. I love it. It adds like a lot of visual texture. It's beautiful. So I'm going to be using that a lot. And then I'm also incorporating a couple little icons from the Ali Edwards stamp set that I'd used earlier, the one that said like our little getaway. And so I put a hot air balloon, a little compass, and then this camera. And I ended up making these 3 little kind of embellishment clusters or stamp clusters, I guess. So I included a bigger element in each of those, one of the Ali Edwards stamps in each of those, and then a smaller one in each of those. So it turned out really cute. I love the way that page turned out. And now I'm working on the final like back side, or the back side of that page, which is the final layout. And I have this I'll be back plastic word piece. It's from, again, that Ali Edwards Little One Stick collection that I wanted to use as like a final page. I wanted that photo of Olivia and I to be the last page, but then I wanted to add some more journaling, and then I wanted to use that pink and whatever multicolored paper I ended up stamping on. So because of that, I needed to have one more page in the back. So it's kind of a filler, but I thought this I'll be back plastic would work really well for this. But as you saw, I had that blue cloud paper originally picked out for this page, and then I realized that the orange, like transparent plastic word thing didn't look right on that. It was too dark of a paper. So I switched it to this cute little star paper, which is from one of the Obed Marshall collection paper pads. I think Fantastico maybe. So yeah, that's what I ended up doing there, just stapling it down. And now I'm going back through the album and putting in a few little last touches. This page here is just a blank piece of matte paper. There was a little gap there that I was able to put this little blue gingham print that's kind of a grid. And I will stick that down. That will be another home for journaling, but some handwritten journaling. I think I only use type journaling at like 2 points of this album, and you end up not seeing those until the final flip through, I'm pretty sure. But I wanted to do that, and then I layered a little bit of washi tape on top of it. It just says like beautiful day, beautiful day, beautiful day, repeated. I've used that washi tape elsewhere in the album. And then I will just kind of keep flipping through the album and seeing where else I could tie up some loose ends, add a little bit of extra pizzazz here and there, and just get everything looking good. But yeah, the album is getting super close to being done. I'm really excited how it turns out. I have truly had a lot of fun putting this album together, and even with the best of albums, sometimes by the end of it, you're kind of like, all right, I'm ready to move on to the next one. I'm not having so much creativity. I'm getting a little burnt out. But with this album, I didn't really find that problem. I had a ton of fun with it, and I'm just so excited to have it finished. I also have just fallen in love with this little mini album. If you want to use the same one as me, I'm pretty sure it's still available on Ali Edwards' website. You can still buy the little 4x4 buildable album. I think it's such good colors. It's so cute. It would work for like literally anything because it's super cute and colorful, but it's also pretty like simple. It doesn't have words or anything on it that would make it specific to a certain type of album. So I just love it. So again, like I said, I'm tying up some loose ends. One of them was this page here that I never got around to finishing. It's just like a filler embellishment page. So I had pulled out a couple of potential things I wanted to use on it, like this butterfly, but all the elements I had picked out were pretty big, and they kind of competed with each other. So I ended up just chopping the butterfly in half, putting half of it on the other side of the layout, and then sticking the remaining half underneath this cute little Polaroid, like 3x3 type square. And then I'm just going to staple a couple of those things down. I love my tiny attacher. It got so much use in this album, as always. And there's that little smiley face washi tape I was talking about earlier. It came in a little pack with the orange floral washi tape I've been using a ton from Hobby Lobby. I don't go to Hobby Lobby a lot, but I've been, I think, like 3 times, and I usually find a couple of like cute things. I think it's definitely hit or miss, but definitely worth it when they're having their like everything scrapbooking is 50% off or something like that. So did that. And then the last thing I just do on here is add a bunch of tiny gold stars, just sprinkle them around to fill in the space. I use these a lot on different albums, but I haven't used them so far. I think the little gold on the plastic butterfly was like what inspired me to need some more gold throughout this little layout, but I think it turns out really cute. I add them all over the place. I add a bunch of them just using that glue pen, which is the best way to add something teeny tiny like this down. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it for this part of the video for chapter 4. We're just blowing through it. So I'm hoping to get chapter 5 up for you guys soon, and you'll be able to see that. I hope you've been enjoying these processes, and I hope that you guys are having a really good summer. If you have any fun summer plans, I'd love to hear about them, what you're doing, where you're going, and maybe how you plan to document them. I find that's like one of the most exciting parts about a trip. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you back here next time with chapter 5. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Have a good day. Bye.